Marana Parks and Recreation's award-winning Crafting for a Cause program is looking for creative seniors ages 50 plus who want to give back to their community. Activities include jewelry making, wreath making, painting, and a chance to sell their creations at town festivals. Proceeds will benefit various causes, including the Marana Community Food Bank and Marana Unified School District. For more information, please visit maranaaz.gov/Team Senior or visit us at the Marana Community Center located at 13250 North Lawn Adams Road.
Have you heard? Marana has unforgettable festivals and events. From parades to fireworks, rodeo competitions to light shows, we'll show you a good time. Learn more about the Marana Signature Event Series by visiting maranaaz.gov/events.
Welcome to Real Talk with the Town, where I sit down with Marana staff to answer your burning questions about our beautiful community. My name is Terry Rozema, and I'm the town manager for the town, so let's get started. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Real Talk with the Town. My name is Terry, and I am your host. And today we have with us the one and only Superintendent of Marana Unified School District, Dr. Dan Streeter. Dan, welcome today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
Yeah, so we're going to cover MUSD stuff because we did get a question about specifically one of the schools, but we're going to cover a lot more than one school. But before we do that, I'm going to talk sports. You like sports.
Let's talk. We could do a whole thing on sports.
We could do a whole thing on sports. We just started a sports podcast.
That's
There's
right.
probably not enough of those out there. So you have you're a golfer.
I play golf.
No, this guy's a golfer, man. He can hit the ball, but he's got a kid. He's got a son who's playing golf in college right now. How's that going?
It's going well. Cade is getting ready to go back for his junior year. He's two-time second team all-conference.
Nice.
I think he'll tell you that last year that was a disappointment. He should have been first team all-conference and probably played himself onto the second team during the conference championship. So,
Oh, man.
bad time for a bad weekend.
But he's got a couple years yet here.
Got a couple years, and I had a busy summer. Had a good summer. Some great performances at Arizona Match Play and Arizona State Stroke Play, and made some waves at USAM qualifying. So good stuff
Wow,
happening.
fantastic. Can you beat the old man?
Pretty routinely.
Pretty routinely. That's a good day in the life of a young man when he can beat dad at one of dad's sports.
Yes, and that happened a few years back. So he's had a lot of good days since then.
Well, that's fantastic. And I think it's always good when a dad can brag on his children. So I'm glad we got that opportunity to do that. But we're not here to talk about Dan's children or about golf or sports in general. We're here to talk about schools in Marana. And so, Dan, let's talk a little bit let's start off with a couple of pretty big things happened recently. You want to talk about those right off the bat?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I am going to make you go back into last year here in a few minutes. We're going to talk a little bit about the highlights in the district and around the
absolutely.
community.
We'll get to that.
But let's talk about what's happened over this summer, because we opened 2 new buildings for the Marana Unified School District. The Tangerine Farms K8 up here in the North Marana area. Beautiful building. Just really a neat design feature.
It is. Who designed that, by the way?
So,
I've been meaning to ask you that.
So we have a great local architect, BWS was the architect involved in that.
All right, shout out to BWS.
Yep, and then the core construction team was the contractor on that.
Oh, I love those guys.
Yeah, and they were
Todd
great
Steffen,
partners.
Yeah, great people there.
Yep, great partners. And what's really cool about Tangerine Farms is through the design process, we brought in the principals from Dove Mountain and Gladden Farms, our 2 newest schools up until this summer, and had them participate in kind of the lessons learned activity.
Yes.
And I think you've said it maybe better than most. It's not so much what are the great things about our buildings, but what are the things about our buildings that we would change.
Right.
And so you see that at Tangerine Farms. You really see the evolution of new school construction in that building. So we're really excited about that. So
you fixed all the things that were broken, not necessarily broken, but that didn't quite work the way you'd hoped they would in Dove Mountain K through 8 and Tangerine Elementary fix those in this new school.
Yeah, and by the end of this week, we'll identify all the things that we got wrong, and then the next one,
as
we'll be
usual,
able to fix those. Yes, so
that's
absolutely.
Good. All right, I cut you off there. You started down another track here.
Yeah, so another cool project that took place over the summer is the Marana Vista Academy, and this is the personalized learning high school that's in the Continental Ranch area. This is that old urgent care building. That we were able to go in, remodel, use 100% state grant funding for.
Oh, that's something. Hey, residents out there in Marana, you're going to like to hear that because that means it didn't cost you a dime, right? Cost the state of Arizona helped MUSD pay for that. That's fantastic.
It's actually a really neat project. You say that it's a first of its kind in the state of Arizona, where a school district was able to take an existing structure that we purchased back in 2020 and then use state grant funds not to build new square footage, but then to renovate existing space. And I know the state is excited about that project because when you start looking around Arizona at the number of empty big box stores, they're seeing this as a possibility for future new school construction. So a lot of eyes were on this project from the state level. Here locally, a lot of eyes were on this project because it's just a neat, innovative way to completely reimagine what teaching and learning can look like for our kids. So personalized learning, we have about 125 kids in that program to kick it off this year.
You anticipate that growing?
Yeah, so that building is really designed to take up to 400 students.
Okay.
So again, primarily you're looking at freshmen in that program.
Okay.
Sophomores, obviously the next large group there. We have a few juniors and seniors that are scattered in there. But when you look at freshman and sophomore being the bulk of enrollment in the next couple of years, you'll see that number go up as you add classes and that class continues to matriculate through.
Okay, now I actually had a chance. I missed the grand opening for the new K through 8. What is it called? What's
Tangerine
the name?
Farms.
Tangerine Farms, K through 8. So I missed the grand opening of that one. So I've got to get over there to see that one. But I did see the Marana Vista School, and it is fantastic. What an incredible job you guys did. That used to be my doctor's office, and I didn't recognize it when I walked in. I was like, okay, I can't even picture how things used to be here. And wow, what a great, and you know what blew me away is I walked into one of the areas that was off to the right, and it was like a dental office.
Yes.
What tell me about that.
Yeah, so that's pretty neat, right? So half of that bit, well, maybe not half, maybe 2/3 of that building is really based off of this concept of personalized learning, right? Really leaning into students being out of their seats, moving around, working in small groups, collaborating. So you see not necessarily traditional classrooms, but you see some small group space, some large group space, some maker space, right? Science lab type spaces. But then along the back of that building are career and technical education programs. So you're talking about dental assisting.
CTE, yeah.
Yep. One of our highlight programs in the district, being able to move it to that location, which makes it much more accessible to our students, both from Mountain View High School and Marana High School.
Right on.
Also, when we talk about CTE on that space, we're looking at some cybersecurity, we're looking at business management. So there'll be a few different programs there that really complement the personalized learning aspect of it as well.
So are these like tracks? Like somebody can say, hey, I'm really interested in dental hygiene and becoming a dental hygienist. They can get on a track for that, or they get a certificate when they walk out, certification of some sort. I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, so actually every career and technical education program that we offer leads to some type of industry certification, right? If you're in a computer networking, computer programming, you're looking for A+ certification. Dental assisting, really earning the certifications that lead you towards becoming a dental hygienist. Everything leads to an industry certification. In fact, last school year, students in Marana earned just under 500 different industry certifications
oh my gosh,
through their CT classes.
That is fantastic. And I will tell you, as somebody who gets out into the community, I hear it all the time, that they are lacking in people in those workforces. And if you can start in the construction world, man, there's lots of people looking for carpenters, for plumbers, for electricians, all of those things. I know you have a welding program, don't you?
We have a great welding program. You've seen that all around town. Actually, there's been a lot of partnerships with the town where we've done some artwork.
Yes, beautiful artwork.
Yeah, I probably one of the flagship programs of certainly Marana High School, but of MUSD is welding. Automotives is another big one. Both of our programs at Mountain View and Marana High have had tremendous success in competitions through their automotive programs. Sports medicine, we can go on and on. Culinary, early childhood development. There's really something for everybody, but the whole point is there's opportunities early in your high school career to dip your toe in, but really the point is for you to go through a 2 to 3 year program, earn an industry certification, and be ready to not just enter the workforce, but contribute to the local and regional economy upon graduation from high school.
Wow, that's beautiful and beautifully stated. Really appreciate that, Dr. Streeter. I hope our residents and our listeners really can appreciate the impact that kind of thing can have on a community. So kudos to MUSD and the work that you're doing in that arena. So 2 brand new schools, very cool. Let's talk about is there anything else planned on the horizon? And people, and I hear this all the time. I get emails and stuff. We're growing too fast, or schools can't accommodate it. The classrooms are overflowing, all of that kind of thing. I don't know that that's true. I'd be listening, be interested to hear what you have to say on that. But any plans going forward? Just completed a couple schools, so maybe there's nothing on the immediate horizon. But like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, we're certainly watching the growth in the area, right? And with the opening of Tangerine Farms, the new K-8 up here in the North Marana area, that's really alleviated some of the concerns that we were feeling at Gladden Farms in Estes Elementary, the 2 existing elementaries up here, as well as Marana Middle School, really your schools that make up this area kind of close to the town center up here. So you open Tangerine Farms, and there's a feeling that now all of our schools in this area are really at that space that's allows them to operate at the optimal levels. In fact, I was talking to the principal, just last night at Gladden Farms, and she said the campus feels great. We're at the number that we were supposed to be at, right? So those pieces are good. When you talk about overcrowding, there was a little bit of overcrowding in this area, but again, the opening of the new K-8 really resolved that issue for right now. In fact, we're ahead of the game a little bit here. We have some other sites on the east side of the freeway, not overcrowding, but we do have some class sizes where we're having to add some sections. And to be honest, that's a result of people wanting to be in Marana with school-age children. We're really starting to see Marana as a draw for the greater Tucson area for families wanting to come in. And it's not just the new builds in North Marana, it's our existing communities. So that's positive growth, right? You kind of call that some of your infill growth.
That's a good problem to have.
Right? Good problem to have. Yep. It's a place that people want to be. To your point, though, we are watching growth patterns, particularly in the North Marana area. We're also watching on the east side of the freeway. Some of those, you see some of these smaller developments going up, and we're keeping tabs on those. But we're watching the North Marana area. There's 2 areas that we have a close eye on. Really watching what's happening just east of I-10, right? Tangerine up to Marana Road, up to San Lucas, right? We're watching that corridor pretty tightly because we see in the next 5 years there's going to be a large number of families and students needing access to our schools. And then continuing to watch North Marana, probably more specifically looking at that kind of Moore Road, north of Moore Road, and watching what the development looks like in those areas. So I think like the town, right, we spend a lot of time with developers and having conversations of where they are in processes and what that looks like out on the horizon. Right now, we feel like we're in a good spot. Like I said, Tangerine Farms opening up really positioned us well. Probably the most common question we get is around a 3rd comprehensive high school. Of course, we have Mountain View on the east side. We have Marana High on the west side, but North Marana is the growth. We do have land up here.
Was that 80 acres, 100 acres?
It's
What is
about
it?
110 acres.
That's more than you need for a high
is-
school.
It's more than you need for a high school. You could probably get 2 school sites on this. But what does that timeline look like, right? So there's a couple considerations for a comprehensive high school. One is you need to make sure that you have the enrollment in that area that would fill that high school.
Okay.
And when we look at the number of school-age children in this area, the North Marana area, if you will, we're getting close to that number where it would make sense to have that facility. But the second piece is just the cost of that building. And undoubtedly,
High schools are expensive, is what you're saying.
High schools are expensive, and it's going to require some type of a bond initiative down the road where we'll have to talk about that piece. So I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
It's front of mind. I think in the next few years, you'll start to see some momentum around that conversation about what the specific timeline would be for a project like that.
Yeah. Well, I think any of our parents who are listening that have teenage children, right, they will know what you're saying is absolutely true. Teenagers cost more money than 5-year-olds do, and high schools cost more than elementary schools. It just kind of stands to reason. So appreciate that, and it's good to hear, and I hope our residents are picking up on this, that MUSD is in a good place right now with this brand new school, and I'd love to hear that. And I know Naya. I know that they were struggling a little bit at the Gladden Farms Elementary School, and I'm glad to hear that she feels that relief as a result of the new school opening up, and can't wait to get over there to see it. So we've talked about new schools. We've talked about future growth. What additional changes or news are on the horizon for the district? Yeah,
so I think this is a good opportunity to talk about kind of where we've been and where we're going.
I like it.
Kind of, well, maybe let's even go back a step. Maybe who is MUSD? I don't know if all of our residents even know who the Marana Unified School District is.
Yeah. A lot of people think that we, the town, run the school system.
Right.
We get that all the time. And I tell them, okay, well, we don't have anything to do with that. Yeah, but you can tell them, no, we can't.
Separate entity, right?
Separate entities, separate boards.
We have our own elected officials that oversee, that work directly with me on that piece. I will say one of the things that is, I think, unique in a really good way is that the school district and the town are pretty tightly connected. Not just one in terms of being able to work together. I think we have some great partnerships with the town.
Right.
But really, the town of Marana is served by one school district. And that's not the case everywhere. You see a lot of municipalities that might have
multiple
3 or 4 districts.
Yes.
Or you have school districts that are represented by multiple municipalities. We actually do fall into that a little bit. Some of our schools sit in
unincorporated,
county land, right?
Pima County, sure.
Yeah, so we do have a little bit of Pima County and town of Marana as well. But who is Marana? 20 schools, about 13,100 students as of this morning.
That's a city right there.
That's the small town school district is growing up.
Yeah, don't tell them how many they are in number because they might try and take over the adults. And
you try to keep that information suppressed if you can, right? Speaking of adults, 1,900 employees. We are one of the largest employers in the area.
Yeah,
and
maybe
certainly largest in Marana, I believe.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that's the largest in Marana, 1,900 employees.
And which I think one of the things that's really unique in Marana is our boundaries. The geographic size of the district is about 550 square miles, which is huge, right? Think about a school bus. Our buses travel about 12,900 miles each day.
Holy cow.
So thinking about boundaries, right? If we go up to the Pinal County line in the north, as far east as Shannon Road. People are familiar with kind of the Shannon Road cutoff.
Yep.
We go as far west as you can see.
Yes.
We basically share a boundary with Ajo.
Right.
In the west. So as far as you can see. And then south, it gets a little wonky. If you're east side of the freeway, Ina Road is our southern border. When you cross over the freeway, that boundary gets a little bit wonky, right? Because we start to drop down.
Goes into Picture Rocks.
Park.
Yeah.
So we pick up Picture Rocks area, but a huge geographic area. Now, I say all that. Let's talk about last year. Mm-hmm. Last year, the Marana Unified School District had more A-rated schools than we ever had in our district's history. In fact, we doubled the number of A-rated
Congratulations,
schools,
Dr. Streeter and Team
you.
Marana Unified School District. That's
Team Marana,
fantastic.
For sure. Yeah. And a neat report came out. Maybe it's not a neat report. It was neat for us. A report came out. It was a study that was done between Harvard University and Stanford University, and they were looking at student achievement recovery coming out of the pandemic.
I've heard this. I love this. Hey, listeners, I want you to listen up right now because this is amazing, fantastic. Let them have it.
Yeah. So this study came out. They've been monitoring student achievement coming out of the pandemic. And in Arizona, there's about 236 school districts. There are 4 school districts that have not only recovered in regards to students' achievement in ELA and math from the pandemic, but 4 school districts that are outperforming pre-pandemic levels.
Outperforming pre-pandemic levels. Do you hear that? That is fantastic news.
And Marana is one of those 4 school districts.
That is right.
So
yes.
We are in the top 1%.
Cue the applause button, please. I wish we had one. We don't have one. I wish we had one, but we don't. We'll have cheering and applause.
Next year when I come back, I'll make sure I have something for an applause button.
I heard that. I think I got to hear that at the Awards of Excellence ceremony, and I thought that is just amazing news. And to be one of only 3 schools, you said, or 4 schools?
Or 4 school districts.
One of only 4 school districts in the entire state of Arizona to exceed the pre-pandemic levels of scores in math, and that's just incredible.
And I think you hit it right, Team Marana. It's really a testament to our teachers. It's a testament to our support staff, to our leaders.
Yeah.
And
you got some
kids.
You got some great people over there. Kristen, Mark. I mean, the crew that you have, the teachers, the principals. I haven't met a bad one in a bunch, so very impressive.
Top notch. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. It's if you can be the weakest link on your leadership team, you've put together a pretty good team. That's what we've done. We've made sure that I'm the weakest link.
Oh, come on, man. Now I know that's not true, man. I know that's not true. You're right on par with all of them. Dr. Dan Streeter's a fantastic leader. He's a modest, humble guy too, apparently. So.
No, it's a great group. So let me piggyback off that though. So the A-rated schools, the 1%, Rattlesnake Ridge over in Continental Ranch earned the A+ recognition from the Arizona Education Foundation. Last year's graduating class was our largest graduating class in the history of MUSD.
Oh, man.
Which I'm almost saying that every year. I say that every year, actually.
Do you? That's the way it is.
We're getting bigger and bigger. It's actually creating a little bit of an issue with where we hold these ceremonies.
Yeah.
But that graduating class, not just the largest, over $20 million in scholarship money.
Oh.
And as we sit here, we have representatives of that class that are currently at the U.S. Naval Academy, at Yale, at NYU, and I would say at Arizona State University, right, the Harvard of the West. I get a little pushback on that.
Oh, we're going to hear from the Wildcat fans. We're going to hear from the Wildcat fans. We got a Sun Devil in the room here.
And then, of course, I mentioned the CTE, the 500, almost 500 industry certifications. So you talk about workforce readiness in addition to that. And then last year we passed the M&O override, which our community supported an increase to our budget, which was for wages and salaries. And really that's a part of how do we recruit and retain the very best.
Pay them teachers. Pay them teachers.
And that's got to be a big
I got a daughter who's a teacher now. I have 2 daughters now that are teachers. Pay them teachers.
Yeah.
So they can get off my dime, man, off the daddy dole.
Well, I think what's happening is with community support, people are recognizing that Marana is not just the place to be from a community standpoint and from a growth standpoint, but it's a place to be from a support standpoint, right? If you're a teacher in Pima County, you want to be in this area because you're being supported by the community, and that's helping with our recruitment efforts.
Fantastic. Well, I really hope that people are listening to all of those statistics and writing those things down, because those are really some impressive statistics. I appreciate you bringing that information in. I hadn't even thought to ask you about some of that stuff. So glad that you did your homework, as a good educator would do, and bring in all that great information. So we've talked about a lot of awesome stuff. Any additional things that you'd like to talk about? Because there's one more thing I'm going to ask you about, but any other things that you want to mention here?
So let's talk about what's next, right? Where we go from here, right? Yeah. So obviously it's about our kids, and it's about continuing to have high levels of student achievement, continuing to provide great opportunities for kids, but also making sure that the quality of those opportunities are at that highest level, right? For our staff, it's continuing to support our staff, right? Make sure they have the tools and resources they need to do their jobs at the highest possible level. It's about staff voice, because inevitably we're going to continue to have challenges. And our best strategy for solving those challenges is bringing staff voice to the table through a collaborative process to attack those. We want to continue to do that. We also want to make sure that there's opportunity for our staff. We want people to see a career, a future for themselves here in Marana. So building pathways for folks so that we can support them as they continue along their own journey. And then probably the biggest piece that you're going to see happening in Marana this year is taking some of our partnerships to the next level. So we've talked a lot about our parent partnership. We've talked a lot about our faith-based partnerships. A big step forward is going to be our MUSD Business Coalition. We've talked a little bit today about CTE, about industry certifications, and about being able to go directly into the local and regional economy as contributors. Part of that is connecting with local and regional businesses to make sure that our programs are aligned with the needs in the area. And then it's about having those points of contact that can help evaluate our programs, making sure that not only do we have the programs that are needed in the area, but again, back to that idea of quality, are we aligning those programs so that they're providing kids with the skills that they're going to need in those areas? So you're going to see a big push with our business coalition around how are we aligning those programs. And then, of course, I think continuing to work with the town. And I'm going to kick it back to you and let you talk a little bit about town partnerships.
Fantastic. Look at that. He's throwing me questions now. How the tables have turned. I appreciate that. And I want to talk about one of those partnerships that we have with MUSD. Now, those are great ideas, by the way. Are those Kristen's ideas?
Of course, right?
We're going to give her credit, whether they are or not. We're going to give her the credit. But you mentioned it. We've talked about it in the last show. The partnership and the relationship between the town of Marana and Marana Unified School District. Although two separate entities, we have a very close working relationship. One of the partnerships that we started last year, which has proven to be not only beneficial, I think, for the students, but highly beneficial for the town, was the lifeguard program. And we hired, I want to say 65, something like that, high school kids that went through the lifeguard program and had their very first job. I talked to a bunch of them last week or the week before. And when I asked how many of you, this is your very first job ever, and probably 80% of the people in the room raised their hand. So to come together with something like that, and this one really was Kristen Reedy. I don't know if the other ones were Kristen Reedy, but we approached Kristen Reedy because Kristen Reedy was a lifeguard for the town of Marana at the Orame Harn Pool. And she partnered with our staff here in the Parks and Recs Department. He put together an amazing program that got kids not only school credit, but got them a great certification to end. We had some saves in the pool this year. One specifically that was a near drowning for about 11-year-old boy, and one of Marana High School students, actually two of them, jumped in the pool, got this kid out, started the CPR and the whole bit, and kid's fine. ended up being fine. But what a wonderful program.
That's actually a great example too, because that's not a partnership that happened outside of the school day. That was a example of us coming together, and you said it, incorporating some school-based credit
right
in line with meeting a town need. And I will say there was some really great kids, members of my superintendent advisory committee, that were some of those students that talked about that opportunity specifically. So, yeah, that's a great example of how we've come together.
I'll tell you, when I spend a little bit of time with kids like that, it gives me such great hope for the future. And I'm sure you get to see that all the time, right?
Absolutely,
just how many wonderful young people there are out there. So another area that we're exploring a little bit with you guys, and this one's turned out to be a little bit more costly than Terry Rozema thought, but sports fields. And I know those are real important, for the school district, and they're real important for the community. And it just so happens that Marana has some nice land right around the Orame Harn Park. So, we're looking at the possibility of partnering there, building some fields, some additional fields for the community, for softball tournaments, and who knows, maybe even expanding into other areas and doing soccer and volleyball, sand volleyball and stuff like that. And I just really appreciate the willingness of the MUSD staff, specifically yourself and Mark, who we've worked with mostly on this, to be open to something like this. And I'm kind of curious your perspective on it. I mean, it seems like a wonderful opportunity, and exactly how it ends up panning out has yet to be seen. But what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think, we're really excited about this opportunity, and kind of go back to that earlier point about partnerships is we've tried to identify different places where natural partnerships exist, right?
Yeah.
The business community is maybe the easiest example that people think about. Is let's make sure that the programs we have in school that are preparing kids for workforce readiness are actually aligned to the workforce needs in the area, right? Well, when we started our faith-based partnership, we came to the realization that a congregation at a faith-based organization on Sunday are our kids and parents Monday through Friday. Why would we not find places that we could connect and support each other? The parent partnership, that's an easy one, right? We need parents to view themselves as partners in their educational process. The partnership with the town.
Do you see? I'm going to interject real quick. I'm curious if you see an increase in that arena specifically, because I think for a while a lot of people felt like parents were so disengaged. Are you seeing that to be true, or are you seeing a shift? Are you seeing that there's great parent involvement? What is kind of your perspective?
I think it's a great question. I think it looks different in different communities and at different levels, right? You typically think of elementary school as high levels of parental engagement, right? and you do, right? And then as kids get to middle school and high school, you start to think that, all right, we're seeing parent engagement start to drop off. And actually what you're seeing is parent engagement shifts at the middle school, high school level. I could have a site council meeting as a high school principal and really struggle to get parents there and think that parents aren't engaged. Go to a band booster club meeting. Go to a football booster meeting and tell me that parents aren't engaged. Parents are finding different ways to be engaged, right? So we've worked
Fair enough,
right? It's understanding that it might look different. So how can we get to those different places to make sure that we're getting those partnerships in place? So I think parent engagement is it's really good in Marana, but it's continuing to increase because we're continuing to find innovative ways to connect with parents. So I think I think maybe even COVID was kind of a time period where people weren't sure what it looked like. It's not that they were disengaging or they were engaging in challenging ways. It's that people were trying to figure out how to engage.
Right.
And I think one of our successes was leaning into some of the opportunities that came out of that.
Good. Now, you started down a path when I interrupted you about the town partnership. And so you wanted to finish that idea.
Well, you talked about sports. So we talked about different partnerships and how there's a lot of mutual benefit in those. And when you talk about sports fields, like this is a great example of and you're talking about Ora May Park, which is right by Marana Middle School. So we do have athletic field space there. We also have middle school sports, and our middle school athletes are local youth league athletes outside of the school day.
Yes, they
so
are.
If there's a way for us to come together and create really nice physical environments to help kind of nurture some of those opportunities for kids, why would we not do that? And I think that's one of the things that I appreciate about the town is that we're constantly looking at ways where we connect or intersect, if you will, in how we can partnership. And I think this is one of those examples that I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out. I certainly there's Monday through Friday school needs that while a lot of them are similar to the town's needs, there's also going to be some challenges because sometimes those needs don't exactly match up.
Yeah.
But if there's two entities that can figure that out, it's the town and the school district.
Oh, I like that. I love that optimism, Dr. Dan Streeter, because, when we first started talking about this idea internally in the organization, and I brought it to our Parks and Recs director, Jim Conroy, and we talked about it, he just thought this is perfect. This is beautiful. I thought, I don't know how MUSD is going to feel about it. We sat down with you guys, and you're like, yeah, let's see what we could do. So as we continue down this track, we'll certainly keep our listeners informed. I don't know if there's other jurisdictions that are doing this. Maybe this becomes a model of some sort. Who knows? But I do think it's innovative. It's a little bit outside the box, but I do believe it would be an incredible partnership. And I actually have a call into Mark. Actually, he called me back, so I owe him a call now. But to talk a little bit about something that's even a little bit further outside the box, and I don't know how that might pan out, but we'll keep working on this thing because I do think there's a lot of potential there. Well, Dr. Streeter, so appreciate you joining us here today. Always a great person to have, great guest to have on the show, and you always bring such tremendous insight and information, and I know our community appreciates that.
Yeah, no, I mean, clearly Kristen wasn't available, so you went with me for this episode, so I appreciate that.
The A team was not available, so we go with the B team. Yeah.
I'm okay in that role.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Streeter. Greatly appreciate it. Best of luck to your son this year in the golfing arena as well.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for listening. Until next time. Submit your questions by visiting maranaaz.gov/realtalk, and we'll answer them right here. To receive notifications for new releases, remember to hit subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Also, remember to follow the town on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date on current news and events.